In today's nightmare, we will sweat a bit. We will travel to a place of peace and calm. We will visit a place that is usually cozy. We will spend time with family enjoying the New Year holidays. What is supposed to be a warm story will become tragic when our main character passes through a tension and despair in our own flesh. This nightmare has been sent to us by our nightmare hunter, Elvis de Venezuela, and we will call it The Girl from My Grandmother's House. And if you want to know its meaning, listen to this voice until the end. In my family, as in many others, we have customs that we do every year. But without a doubt, the most present memory I have is winter. When the temperature begins to fall and the streets are filled with Christmas decorations, the atmosphere changes and feels different. It is there where my memories become more vivid and I feel full of nostalgia and joy knowing that I will soon visit my grandmother. A couple of days before the new year, my mother and I prepared to go to the town where my grandmother lives, just an hour from my house. But upon arrival, I have the feeling of being in a completely different place, more quiet, more silent and very different. A feeling of peace that I never felt elsewhere. On December 31, we sing, drink, dance and celebrate big time with the family. At midnight, the bells interrupt and announce that we start a new year. We all embrace and continue for a while enjoying being together. After dawn, a heavy dream forces us to rest, and as we can, we settled in the room of the small house. As if time has not passed, I wake up instantly and notice an unusual heaviness in the environment. But everything is the same, the door, the sheets, the window, everything in its place. But I feel that something does not fit. I look towards the window, and by the dim light that enters through the curtains, I detect that it is still night. An overwhelming silence floods the house, as if it were abandoned for years. A feeling inside drives me to get up and see what is not right. Would everyone have left the house? My bare feet walk on the old wooden floor of the house, making a terrifying sound that mixes with my heart breathing. I go to my grandmother's room. I open the door of her room with a slow squeak. And what I see makes me start to sweat from fear. In my grandmother's room, I only see her old bed with the messy sheets. She's not there. As I walk to the living room in search of my grandmother, a cold sweat runs through the back of my neck. At that moment, I remember that my grandmother usually gets up early to go to the apple tree to collect what is necessary for breakfast. When I return from my thoughts, I realize that I have already opened the street door and I am going out to the garden. As if driven by an inner force, I head towards the apple tree that is about 200 meters from the house. It is still very dark and only the dim light of the moon illuminates my path. I see a small silhouette under the short tree with long black hair. I know it is not my grandmother, but seems to need help. I get a little closer and I see that she's a girl. I'm closer and I notice something strange. Crimson threads are drawn in her arms and fall to the grass. It's blood. I try to ask her who she is and if she is okay or needs help, but my throat doesn't produce any sound. The heavy environment presses my chest. I want to run, scream, ask her what's going on, but my legs and my senses do not respond to me. The blood becomes more and more. I touch the girl's shoulder and she does not react. Gradually, she turns her face towards me until her dark eyes penetrate me directly into the soul, until like a distant murmur, I hear a voice that seems nothing like the voice of a girl who says, "Run!" A sudden mist seizes the place. My heart beats at 1,000 per hour. I walk again all the steps that took me to the apple tree, but this time at all speed my legs allow me. I reach the door of the house again and finally manage to shout, "Mom! Mom!" The echo of my voice echoes in every corner of the house, but nobody answers me. I look in the rooms and lying on the floor I find my mother. But she's not answering me. She doesn't react. She doesn't see me. I feel like I'm in the same house but in another place at the same time. I look away for a second, and when my mother returns, she's not alone. I recognize that silhouette. She's that girl. But what is that? A knife? What are you doing? Leave my mother alone! Please! No! No! With that last scream, we have a feeling of gloom and heaviness, and we get an idea of what our main character felt seconds before waking from his nightmare. The meaning of this nightmare does not necessarily represent something bad, although these types of dreams are terrifying and leave us a bad taste in the mouth and a sense of hopelessness. The reality is that it is the way of how our closing cycles are represented. When we see someone else die in our nightmares, it is a clue of ending some personal tendency. It is a warning of the need to renew ourselves, and by not doing it, you are still full of contradictions and the mind is so disturbed that we have those nightmares. I hope you enjoyed while having a bad time with us, and better yet, that you still want more. See you in the next video, and remember, when there is no more space in your dreams, nightmares will walk on your bed.